What is up, everybody? Put some music on for you.
So faithful, so constant, so loving and so true, so powerful in all you do. You fill me, you see me, you know my every move. You love for me to sing to you. I know that you are for me. I know that you are for me. I know that you will never forsake me in my weakness. I know that you have come now, even if to write upon my heart, to remind me who you are. So patient, so gracious, so merciful and true, so wonderful in all you do. You fill me, you see me, you know my every move. You love for me to sing to you. Lord, I know that you are for me. I know that you are for me. I know that you will never forsake me in my weakness. I know that you have come down, even if to write upon my heart, to remind me that I know that you are for me. I know that you are for me. I know that you will never forsake me in my weakness. I know that you have come down, even if to write upon my heart, to remind me who you are. To remind me. I know that you are for me. I know that you are for me. I know that you never forsake me in my weakness. I know that you have come now, even if to write upon my heart, to remind me who you are.
Wait. Good timing. What is up, everybody? It is Sunday evening, and Sorry. There we go. Sunday evening. It's been a cloudy, nice day here at the lake. Never has really rained. It's looked like it's going to rain, but it hadn't really rained. Kind of sprinkled a little bit. Got to go do a little fishing today. So that was awesome. Caught some fish. It's fun. I love being on the water. Even if I don't catch anything, I still like being on the water. But I'm very competitive. So when I'm out there, I do like to catch. But no matter what, it's always great. But today was a great day. All right, we are on day 96. Believe that? Day 96. We are in Judges 19 through 21. Judges has been a little crazy. Been a little crazy. Like, we've seen some craziness. The last we read about was read about Samson and his little journey as a judge. And then we jumped into kind of this random whole, what was that? The Levite, the Danites, and then it was just kind of a weird whole situation. Anyway, kind of craziness, but we are in the last part of Judges, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, this is the last part of Judges. Judges is a very interesting book because they're not like kings. They're not like these great leaders. Matter of fact, a lot of it doesn't even say a whole lot what they did, except cause a lot of trouble and not do things the way God would want them to most of the time. Once we got past Joshua, the leadership went downhill quick. Anyway, all right. So I'm gonna pray. We're gonna jump into this. Stacey should be coming. She hasn't been feeling very good. Her throat hurts pretty bad. So I'm gonna pray and we'll get going. Father, we are grateful and thankful just for a new day. Thankful for the day we've had so far. Thankful for just a kind of a chill, cloudy, cooled off day. Lord, I pray that you will just be with the live today as we read your word. May it come alive to us, help us to learn and grow from it. We are grateful for your word. Thank you that it's truth, that it holds truth forever and ever and ever. We thank you that you hold true. Thank you that you love us desperately. And we are grateful for that. Well, we love you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Hey, we're on the live, so I need y'all to not be loud, okay? After the live. At round 6. Okay, I'm trying to do the live and you're distracted. So y'all stay downstairs, okay? Thank you. All right. Water. All right, we Judges 19. I'm gonna get reading this. And we'll get going. All right. A Levite and his concubine. In those days, when there was no king in Israel, a certain Levite was sojourning in the remote parts of the hill country of Ephraim, who took to himself a concubine from Bethlehem in Judah, and his concubine was unfaithful to him, and she went away from him to her father's house at Bethlehem in Judah, and was there for some 4 months. Then her husband arose and went after her. 4 months later, he went after her. All right. Then went after her to speak kindly to her and bring her back. He had with him his servant and a couple of donkeys, and she brought him into her father's house. And when the girl's father saw him, he came with joy to meet him. And his father-in-law, the girl's father, made him stay and remained with him 3 days. So they ate and drank and spent the night there. And on the fourth day they arose early in the morning, and he prepared to go. But the girl's father said to his son in law, "Strengthen your heart with a morsel of bread, and after that you may go." So the two of them sat and ate and drank together. And the girl's father said to the man, "Be pleased to spend the night, and let your heart be merry." And when the man rose up to go, his father in law pressed him till he spent the night there again. And on the fifth day he arose early in the morning to depart. And the girl's father said, "Strengthen your heart and wait until the day declines." So they ate, both of them. And when the man and his concubine and his servants rose up to depart, his father in law, the girl's father, said to him, "Behold, now the day has waned toward evening. Please spend the night." Behold, the day draws to its close. Lodge here and let your heart be merry, and tomorrow you shall arise early in the morning for your journey and go home. But the man would not spend the night. He rose up, departed, and arrived opposite Jebus, that is Jerusalem. He had with him a couple of saddled donkeys, and his concubine was with him. When they were near Jebus, not real sure. Hey, Jackie. The day was nearly over, and the servant said to his master, "Come now, let us turn aside to the city of the Jebusites and spend the night in it." And his master said to him, "We will not turn aside into the city of foreigners who do not belong to the people of Israel, but we will pass on to Gibeah. And he said to his young man, "Come, let us draw near to the one of these places and spend the night at Gibeah or at Ramah." So they passed on and went their way. And the sun went down on them near Gibeah, which belongs to Benjamin. And they turned aside there to go in and spend the night at Gibeah. I don't know if I'm saying that right. And he went in and sat down in the open square of the city, for no one took them into his house to spend the night. And behold, an old man was coming from his work in the field at evening, the man from the hill country of Ephraim, and was sojourning in Gibeah. The men of the place were Benjaminites. And he lifted up his eyes and saw the traveler in the open square of the city. And the old man said, Where are you going? And where do you come from?" And he said to him, "We're passing from Bethlehem to Judah to the remote parts of the hill country of Ephraim, from which I come. I went to Bethlehem in Judah, and I am going to the house of the Lord. But no one has taken me into his house. We have straw and feed for our donkeys, with bread and wine for me and your female. Wait a minute. We have straw and feed for your donkeys, with bread and wine for me and your female servant, and the young man with your servants. There is no lack of anything." And the old man said, "Peace be to you. I will care for all your wants. Only do not spend the night in the square." So he brought him into his house and gave the donkeys feed, and they washed their feet and ate and drank. As they were making their hearts merry, behold, the men of the city, worthless fellows, surrounded the house, beating on the door. And they said to the old man, the master of the house, "Bring out the man who came into your house, that we may know him." And they're not talking about hanging out with him. And the man who came, and the master of the house, went out to them and said to them, "No, my brothers, do not act so wickedly. Since this man has come into my house, do not do this vile thing. Behold, here are my virgin daughter and his concubine. Let me bring them out now. Violate them and do with them what seems good to you, but against this man do not do this outrageous thing." But the men would not listen to him. So the man seized his concubine and made her go out to them. And they knew her and abused her all night until the morning. And as the dawn began to break, they let her go. And as morning appeared, the woman came and fell down at the door of the man's house where her master was until it was light. And her master rose up in the morning, and when he opened the door of the house and went out to go his way, behold, there was his concubine laying at the door of the house with her hands on the threshold. He said to her, "Get up, let us be going." But there was no answer. Then he put her on the donkey, and the man rose up and went away to his home. And when he entered his house, he took a knife, and taking hold of his concubine, he divided her limb by limb into 12 pieces, and he set her throughout all the territory of Israel. And all who saw it said, "Such a thing has never happened or been seen from the day that people of Israel came up out of the land of Egypt until this day. Consider it, take counsel, and speak."
What?
Holy crap. So she, in the beginning of this, what's up, Mary? She had cheated on him. Okay. She left and went back to her dad. He went and got her. Stayed there for several days. Finally, he's like, "Let's leave." So they're on their way back. Stops in this town. These guys, they stay with some old man. These guys come and want to take him out and basically rape him. And the old,
What?
yeah, says, "Bring out the man who came into your house that we may know him." And that's referring to they want to rape him. The men were trying to get him. And the man, the master of the house, went out to them and said, "No, don't do this." So the guy gives up his, says, "Behold, here are my virgin daughter and his concubine."
His daughter?
But it doesn't say that anything happened to the daughter. It only says the concubine.
So the man. The man
Yeah,
would
they
not
didn't
listen.
take the daughter.
So the man seized his concubine and
Yeah.
made her go out to them.
Yeah. Yeah, they wouldn't take that guy's. So they took this guy that was journeying, his wife. He gave her up. I guess they,
Is a concubine a wife?
yes. They raped her all night. And then he put her on a donkey, took her home, and he
Yeah, okay, yeah.
and dismembered her, which is crazy. So I'm gonna keep reading.
No.
No, what?
Hmm?
You want me to keep reading?
Please.
Oh, so I said you. I thought you said no.
Oh, I thought you said you want me to make you read.
Oh no.
My throat is hurting really bad.
Hey, will
Yeah,
you?
just the concubine. I already did. Just go ahead.
No, she just texted me directly.
I already talked to her. Go ahead.
I just want to tell her that I will talk to her after. Israel's war with the tribe of Benjamin. All right, chapter 20. And then all the people of Israel came out from Dan to Beersheba, including the land of Gilead, and the congregation assembled as one man to the Lord at Mizpah. And the chiefs of all the people of all the tribes of Israel presented themselves in the assembly of the people of God, 400,000 men on foot that drew the sword. Now the people of Benjamin heard that the people of Israel had gone up to the Mizpah, and the people of Israel said, "Tell us, how did this evil happen?" And the Levite, the husband of the woman who was murdered, answered and said, "I came to Gibeah, I don't know. Is that how should I say that?
Gibeah?
Gibeah, thank you. That belongs to Benjamin. I and my concubine to spend the night. And the leaders of Gibeah rose against me and surrounded the house against me by night. They meant to kill me, and they violated my concubine, so she is dead. Yeah, that's not, I mean, exactly how it went. So I took hold of my concubine and cut her into pieces and sent her throughout all the country of the inheritance of Israel, for they have committed abomination and outrage in Israel. Oh, okay, so she had died, I guess. Behold, you people of Israel, all of you, give your advice and counsel here. And all the people arose as one man, saying, none of us will go to his tent, and none of us will return to his house. But now this is what we'll do to Gibeah. Did you say? How'd you say that? Gibeah. We will go up against it by lot, and we will take 10 men of 100 throughout all the tribes of Israel, and 100 of 1,000, and 1,000 of 10,000, to bring provision for the people, that when they come, they may repay Gibeah for Benjamin for all the outrage that they have committed in Israel. So all the men of Israel gathered against the city, united as one man. And the tribes of Israel sent men throughout all the tribes of Benjamin, saying, what evil is this that has taken place among you? Now, therefore, give up the men, the worthless fellows in Gibeah, that we may put them to death and purge evil from Israel. But the Benjaminites would not listen to the voice of their brothers, the people of Israel. Then the people of Benjamin came together out of the city of Gibeah to go out to battle against the people of Israel. And the people of Benjamin mustered out of their cities on that day 26,000 men who drew the sword, besides the inhabitants of Gibeah, who mustered 700 chosen men. Among all these were 700 chosen men who were left-handed. Every one could sling a stone at a hair and not miss. And the men of Israel, apart from Benjamin, mustered 400,000 men who drew the sword. All of these were men of war. The people of Israel rose and went to Bethel and inquired of God, who shall go up first for us to fight against the people of Benjamin? And the Lord said, Judah will go up first. Then the people of Israel rose in the morning and encamped against Gibeah. And the men of Israel went out to fight against Benjamin. And the men of Israel drew up the battle line against them at Gibeah. The people of Benjamin came out of Gibeah and destroyed on that day 22,000 men of the Israelites. But the men of Israel took courage and again formed the battle line in the same place where they had formed it on the first day. And the people of Israel went up and wept before the Lord until the evening. And they inquired of the Lord, shall we again draw near to fight against our brothers, the people of Benjamin? And the Lord said, go up against them. So the people of Israel came near against the people of Benjamin the second day. And Benjamin went against them out of Gibeah and the second day and destroyed 18,000 men of the people of Israel. So where this guy went and got all these people riled up to come fight Gibeah.
This guy went. Who?
The guy that originally was traveling, he went, he dismembered the lady.
He got the people of Israel.
Right, and they're getting their butts kicked.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I'm just making sure I'm understanding that. All these were men who drew the sword. Then all the people of Israel, the whole army, went up and came to Bethel and wept. They sat before the Lord and fasted that day until evening, and offered burnt offerings and peace offerings before the Lord. And the people of Israel inquired of the Lord, for the ark of the covenant of God was there in those days. And Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, wow, he's kind of not been around, son of Aaron, ministered before it in those days, saying, shall we go out once more to battle against our brothers, the people of Benjamin, or shall we cease? And the Lord said, go up, for tomorrow I will give them into your hand. So Israel sent men in ambush around Gibeah. And the people of Israel went up against the people of Benjamin. And on the third day, they set themselves in array against Gibeah, as at other times. And the people of Benjamin went out against the people and were drawn away from the city. And as at other times, they began to strike and kill some of the people in the highways, one of which goes up to Bethel and the other to Gibeah, and in the open country, about 30 men of Israel. The people of Benjamin said, "They are routed before us, and as at the first." But the people of Israel said, "Let us flee and draw them away from the city to the highways." And all the men of Israel rose up out of the place and set themselves in array at Baltamar. And the men of Israel who were in ambush rushed out of their place from Mahri, I don't know, Gibeah. How do you say it?
I would probably say Maragiba.
Maharagiba. And there came against Gibeah 10,000 men out of all Israel, and the battle was hard, but the Benjaminites did not know that disaster was close upon them. And the Lord defeated Benjamin before Israel. And the people of Israel destroyed 25,100 men of Benjamin that day. All these were men who drew the sword. So the people of Benjamin saw that they were defeated. So that's the first time that they got beat, right?
Mm-hmm.
The men of Israel came around to Benjamin. Huh? What? The men of Israel gave ground. Sorry, I see. The men of Israel gave ground to Benjamin because they trusted the men in ambush who they had set against Gibeah. Then the men in ambush hurried and rushed against Gibeah. The men in ambush moved out and struck all the city with the edge of the sword. Now, the appointed signal between the men of Israel and the men in the main ambush was that when they made a great cloud of smoke rise up out of the city, the men of Israel should turn in battle. Now Benjamin had begun to strike and kill about 30 men of Israel. They said, "Surely they are defeated before us, as in the first battle." But when the signal began to rise out of the city in a column of smoke, the Benjaminites looked behind them, and behold, the whole of the city went up in smoke to heaven. Then the men of Israel turned, and the men of Benjamin were dismayed, for they saw their disaster was close upon them. Therefore they turned their backs before the men of Israel in the direction of the wilderness, but the battle overtook them. And those who came out of the cities were destroying them in their midst. Surrounding the Benjaminites, they pursued them and trod them down from Noah. Noah. As far as the opposite of Gibeah to the east, 18,000 men of Benjamin fell, all of them men of valor, and they turned and fled toward the wilderness to the rock of Rimmon. 5,000 men of them were cut down in the highways, and they were pursued hard to get them, and 2,000 men of them were struck down. So all who fell that day of Benjamin were 25,000 men who drew the sword, all of them men of valor. But 600 men turned and fled toward the wilderness of the rock of Rimmon, and remained at the rock of Rimmon. Is it Rimmon? 4 months. And the men of Israel turned back against the people of Benjamin and struck them with the edge of the sword, the city, men and beasts, and all that they found. And all the towns that they found, they set on fire.
It's crazy.
I'm kind of confused. Because at first, the one group was winning, right? But then it switched.
Yes.
But both groups were crying out to God, right? Did I catch? Did I?
We didn't hear about the Benjamites. We're on the Israelite side. So we don't know about them. The tribes of Israel, they're the ones that spoke to God. Unless I missed something.
But they were all Israelites. They were just in different tribes. So
the tribe of Benjamin, that's why it said all of the Israelites.
Yeah, the word was going back and forth.
Minus the tribe of Benjamin that was in Gibeah. There was one part where it said all of Israel.
Israelites versus Benjamin. But were the Benjaminites not one of the tribes? I thought they were one of the 12 tribes. Am I wrong? I may be wrong, for sure. That's possible.
There's one line that says, yeah, because it said, against my brothers.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Okay. They are fighting against each other.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay. Because of what they did to the woman.
Right.
And they're all fighting against it. Okay.
That's what I thought.
Back
one for a second.
I mean, that's kind of what I thought. And so it's just interesting because they both are like asking God for help, and they're like fighting against each other.
Well, we don't hear that from the Benjamites. They're talking about it in
just from the Israelite side.
That guy was savage.
Well, they killed his wife, which he gave him to him was his own fault.
He knew that was happening.
Yeah.
I mean, he knew that they were going to violate her.
Right. Which seemed to be a thing back then. Like, men just, here, take my wife.
Even the man who owned the house was like, here, take my daughter.
Virgin daughters.
To protect that man.
Just, but that, the value, and this doesn't sound horrible, but the way they valued women wasn't the same. I mean, then, for sure.
And the men of Israel, apart from Benjamin, mustered 400,000. So they're calling them, that's the point where they start to separate the two.
They're still a tribe
of Israel, but they're fighting their brothers.
Right.
And the men of Israel, apart from Benjamin, numbered 400,000 men who drew the sword, and all these were men.
Right.
I knew I saw something that separated them. This is crazy.
So all this killing, all these people dying, I want to say because of this woman, this man, really. It all started because she had an affair. She went and lived with her dad. He goes to get her. And then he's on his way back. And then all hell broke loose, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so all these guys are fighting over this one instance. Yeah, how many thousands of people died because of this one? Not that the thing was little, but like this one.
Well, because he's saying, the guy it's his concubine, he's saying that the whole thing is and
which makes me like, these are those situations where, you know how things blow up, whether it can be an argument with a friend, a spouse, or two groups of people end up fighting and they don't even know why they're fighting.
Because
it's like
the leaders of Gibeah rose against me, surrounded my house, meant to kill me, violated my concubine.
Right.
Like, you can't do that. We're all Israel. So they're basically saying, you have messed up our family. You've messed up our order.
Right.
Because the leaders of Gibeah did this heinous thing against somebody who was visiting the town.
Right. No, I mean, I get it. But it's like, but it's just it's like all this killing over this situation. And it makes you wonder, with that many thousands of men battling, do some even know why they're fighting? Like they're just in this major battle. Thousands of people are dying, wives losing their husbands, kids losing their dads over this one situation. Like, just crazy to me. All right. Wives provided for the tribe of Benjamin. Oh, sorry. All right. Chapter 21. Here we go. Now the men of Israel had sworn at Mizpah, no one of us shall give his daughter in marriage to Benjamin. And the people came to Bethel and sat there till evening before God. And they lifted up their voices and wept bitterly. And they said, O Lord, the God of Israel, why has this happened in Israel, that today there should be one tribe lacking in Israel? And the next day the people rose early and built there an altar and offered burnt offering and peace offering. And the people of Israel, I lost where I was at. And the people of Israel said, which of all the tribes of Israel did not come up in the assembly of the Lord? For they had taken a great oath concerning him who did not come up to the Lord to Mizpah, saying, he shall surely be put to death. And the people of Israel had compassion for Benjamin, their brother, and said, one tribe is cut off from Israel this day. What shall we do for wives for those who are left, since we have sworn by the Lord that we will not give them any of our daughters for wives? And they said, what one is there of the tribes of Israel that did not come up to the Lord to Mizpah? And behold, no one had come up to the camp from Jabesh Gilead to the assembly. For when the people were mustered, behold, not one of the inhabitants of Jabesh Gilead was there. So the congregation sent 12,000 of their bravest men there and commanded them, go and strike the inhabitants of Jabesh Gilead with the edge of the sword, also the women and the little ones. This is what you shall do. Every male and every woman that has lain with a male you shall devote to destruction. And they found among the inhabitants of Jabesh Gilead 400 young virgins who had not known a man by lying with them. And they brought them to the camp at Shiloh, which is in the land of Canaan. Then the whole congregation sent word to the people of Benjamin, who were at the rock of Rimmon, and proclaimed peace to them. And Benjamin returned at that time. And they gave them the women whom they had saved alive of the women of Jabesh Gilead. But they were not enough for them. But they were not enough for them. And the people had compassion on Benjamin, because the Lord had made a breach in the tribe of Israel. What in the world? What did I do? All right. Then the elders of the congregation said, what shall we do for the wives for those who are... Oh, wait, did I read that? No. Who are left, since the women are destroyed out of Benjamin? And they said, there must be... Did I read this? Yeah. Oh, no, I didn't.
Yeah.
No, because I didn't read East of the highway to go to Bethel Shechem. I didn't read any of that.
No.
Then the elders of the congregation said, what shall we do for the wives for those who are left, since the women are destroyed out of Benjamin? And they said, there must be an inheritance for the survivors of Benjamin, that a tribe not be blotted out from Israel. Yes, or yet we cannot give them wives from our daughters. For the people of Israel had sworn, cursed be he who gives a wife to a Benjamin. So they said, behold, there is a yearly feast of the Lord at Shiloh, which is north of Bethel, on the east of the highway that goes up from Bethel to Shechem, and south of Lebanon. Labana? Labana? Huh?
Lebanon.
Lebanon. And they commanded the people of Benjamin, saying, go and lie in ambush in the vineyards, and watch. If the daughters of Shiloh come out to dance in the dances, then come out of the vineyards and snatch each man his wife from the daughters of Shiloh, and go to the land of Benjamin. What in the world? All the crazy, they killed all these people, took all the girls, and then now they're coming to get more. And when the fathers of their brothers come to complain to us, we will say to them, grant them graciously to us, because we did not take for each man of them his wife in battle, neither did we give them to them. I don't know. I need to reread that. Grant them graciously to us, because we did not take for each man of them his wife in battle, neither did you give them to them, else you would now be guilty. And the people of Benjamin did so, and took their wives according to their number from the dancers whom they carried off. Then they went and returned to their inheritance, and rebuilt the towns and lived in them. And the people of Israel departed from there at that time, every man to his tribe and family, and they went out from there, every man to his inheritance. In those days, there was no king in Israel, no doubt. Everyone did what was right in his own eyes, no doubt. What a neat.
What has gone on? This is a mess.
So they kill off all those people, and then I guess feel bad now. So they like, okay, we pretty much, because they killed all the women, right? And then they took all the girls. So now they're letting them rebuild their tribe,
So that there won't be a tribe completely wiped out.
right? So in order for them to do that, they got to find women for them,
So
because they won't let them have their daughters. So they got to go find another tribe to get their daughters. So they take from these other people their daughters.
So first it was the Gibeah.
I don't know about all this right now. I'm overwhelmed with the craziness. These people have lost their mind. I mean, can you just imagine God like that in the world? I mean, I think he kind of thinks that right now too.
Oh.
I think they stole the women. Yes, for sure. No doubt.
So why?
All because
Why did they?
this dude dismembered his wife. So,
There are still women in Benjamin. I don't understand why they had to even steal women. Why? There were still women there. They killed a bunch of men.
well, they must have took their women too or something.
So first it was.
There wasn't there. There had to be
Jabesh Gilead.
There had to be not enough or something. There was a reason. I mean, there wasn't enough women for the men.
They took 400 from Jabesh Gilead. Jabesh Gilead. They took 400 who had not known a man by laying with him, and they brought them to the camp at Shiloh, which is in the land of Canaan. And the whole congregation sent word to the people of Benjamin who were proclaimed peace to them. Benjamin returned at this time, and they gave them the women who they had saved alive. So did they kill all the? But they were not enough. Because the Lord had made a breach. Y'all are crazy. So then they went and stole the ones go and lie in ambush in the vineyards and watch. The daughters of Shiloh come out to dance in the dances, then come out of the vineyards and snatch each man his wife. So actual Benjamin people are snatching each man his wife from the daughters of Shiloh and go to the land of Benjamin. When their fathers or brothers come to complain, we will say, grant them graciously to us, because we did not take for each man of them his wife in battle. This is why, because we did not take for each man of them his wife in battle, neither did you give them to them, else you would. I don't understand that sentence at all. Good Lord. This is not sitting well with me. Oh, Jesus, come. Sodom and Gomorrah. Maybe tension had been building up. No, you didn't. I think they stole the women. Yeah, they're splitting body parts and sending it out. Yeah. This is crazy. You okay?
I'm okay.
A little affected today. It's crazy.
Chaos.
Yeah.
Utter chaos.
And that man lied. He straight up gave them. I don't understand why. Just to save himself. Ugh. They said that we may know him. Okay, read the recap.
Okay. Had to take a breather. These people lost their
Thankful to be a woman in this
minds. Time. In those days, there was no king in Israel. Everyone did what was right in his own eyes.
What did it say about her affair? Just that she had one and that was it? Or did it give details?
No, that was it. She was a heifer. I guess. All right, I'm just kidding. All right. Israel's living in total anarchy.
One thing did say heifer about a woman. What was that?
That was the day before yesterday, I think. Which is beyond evident in today's reading. A Levite has a concubine, which is basically a household servant with fewer rights. Oh.
Yeah, it's not a wife.
I thought it was a wife. My bad. With fewer rights and less permanency than a wife.
She's like a live-in prostitute.
I was going to say, I'm assuming they're probably still having sex. than a wife, and whose main job is to sleep with the boss. Oh, there you go, and have his kids. So that's a serious side chick right there. Like, and the wife would know about it.
Well, and I'm just guessing it wasn't her choice.
Right. I mean, she wants to leave this arrangement, but he goes to win her back.
Oh. She wants to leave this arrangement.
Yeah, she didn't like it, which I don't blame her. He meets her dad, who invites them to stay with him. But by day 5, the Levite is ready to head home. On the way, his servant suggests spending the night at Canaanite city, but the Levite wants to keep moving until they hit an Israelite area. They stop at Gibeah among the tribe of Benjamin. An old and an old man urges them to stay at his place. The local leaders show up and demand to have sex with the Levite, but the old man offers his virgin daughter and the Levite's concubine instead. The locals did not like this offer, but the Levite saves himself by sending his concubine to them. God never endorses this. This is all the result of God's people turning away from him. The men rape her and beat her to death. The Levite does not even seem to be moved by her fate. It's heartbreaking and infuriating all at once. He takes her home, dismembers her, and sends pieces of her body throughout Israel, probably one piece to each tribe. Most scholars think he does this to prove that his story is true and that the Benjaminites are guilty. In response, the men of fighting age from all the tribes of except Benjamin gather. The phrase from Dan to Beersheba refers to all of Israel because the new city Dan just conquered is in the far north and Beersheba is in the far south. Even the 2.5 Transjordan tribes come. Nearly 500,000 men from 11 tribes gathered to talk about what the Benjaminites have done to the concubine. The Levites tell the story, conveniently leaving out the role he played. The Levite tells the story, conveniently leaving out the role he played. Of course he did. And asks what should happen in response to this abomination. They decide to confront the city of Gibeah. All these jokers get in this big war because this joker sells out his concubine, but doesn't tell the whole story. How many times does that happen? People tell the story, but don't tell the whole story to make sure everybody feels sorry for them or wants them to believe what they have to say or to justify their whole thing. Happens a lot. First, they try to reason with the locals, asking them to bring out the men responsible so they can enforce the death penalty. But the town won't give them up. They protect their wicked leaders and refuse to hold them accountable. As a result, the Benjaminites go to war against
That also sounds like today.
go to war against the rest of Israel. This is their first civil war. They fight for 3 days, and every day Israel asks God for guidance. He gives it, and they obey. They can't figure out why they're losing since they're being obedient to God. That's what I was going to say. I was like, why? They keep asking, and they do it, and then they got their butt kicked. But on days 1 and 2, God doesn't promise victory. He just tells them what to do. Obedience doesn't guarantee our desired outcome. Woo. That's an underlined little statement there. Sometimes its purpose is to teach us faithfulness to God instead of our desires. On day 3, God says they'll win, and they defeat all the men of Benjamin except 600 who hide. Israel burns Gibeah, treating it like a Canaanite city. God never commands this, but they do it. While they're gathered mourning and offering sacrifices to God, 2 things happen almost simultaneously. They're trying to figure out how to keep the tribe of Benjamin from disappearing altogether, and they realize that there's a clan who didn't respond to the call to come fight, Jabesh Gilead. Without consulting God, Israel puts together their most efficient plan. How's that working out for you?
I wonder why they didn't come.
They're like, I ain't getting in this mess. This is stupid.
All of them?
Bunch of
Like, not a
teenage-
single person?
Because they're all like, this ain't my fight. I ain't getting in the middle of
I
this.
just wonder if they didn't hear.
Maybe. They send men to kill everyone in Jabesh Gilead except female virgins. They bring back 400 virgins to give to the 600 surviving Benjaminites.
So doesn't that get rid of the tribe of
Yeah, but they weren't a part of.
Jabesh Gilead?
Yeah, but they weren't.
It's still one of their tribes.
No,
So why do you?
it wasn't. It wasn't. It was the tribe. I don't think it was.
It was one of the tribes that didn't come up to fight. So they literally
I don't
sacrificed.
know that they were. Hold on.
Yeah, they were saying which one did not answer the call or whatever.
Right.
It sounds to me like they literally sacrificed a tribe.
Yeah, but they were a trans tribe. I think they were a mixed tribe. I don't think they were a full tribe. I could be wrong on that, but I don't think they.
What do you mean?
Like they were a mixed tribe of. They weren't a full line of the original tribes. Of the 12 tribes, I don't think they were one of them. I think they were a mixed tribe or something. I don't think they were from that lineage. I could be wrong. Okay, so it says Israel burns Gibeah, treating it like a Canaanite city. God never commands this, but they do it. While they gather mourning, so yeah, they trying to figure out how to keep the tribe of Benjamin from disappearing altogether, and they realize that there's a clan who didn't respond to the call.
A clan.
Yeah, to come fight Jabesh Gilead. Without consulting God, Israel puts together the most efficient plan. They send men to kill everyone in Jabesh Gilead except female virgins. They bring back 400 virgins to give to the 600 surviving Benjaminites. But since they're still 200 women short, they hatch a plan for the Benjaminites to kidnap some women while they're dancing at a festival. What in the world? This passage is descriptive, not prescriptive.
They literally did to Jabesh Gilead what they were mad about and did
What
this
they
whole
did.
fight for.
No, they did that. They're the ones who took out the Benjaminites. This is man's wicked plan to fix the circumstances that they're in because of sin.
Makes no sense.
When we fail to consult God and lean into our own understanding, we almost always make a bigger mess. That's for sure. Trying to cover up sin for a sin and lie for lie always turns out to be a freaking mess. Obedience doesn't guarantee our desired outcome. I know, it's so good, right?
They are part of the half tribe of Manasseh.
Yeah.
So that's why it's saying clan.
Yeah.
So they're still Manasseh.
Part, yeah.
But what I'm saying is this whole thing is because of the outrage, because of these men trying to kill another man. But then they went and
weren't
killed
just
all these men.
Well, yeah.
That don't make no sense. How can
Because
you
they
say,
killed a woman. And he lied about the whole thing. He didn't tell them what happened. All he said was these men took his concubine and raped her and killed her. He didn't say what happened.
Well, but he said they wanted to come. They came and tried to kill me, and then they killed my concubine.
Right. But that's not the whole story. But yes.
I know.
Right. Oh, sorry.
But how is that such a huge outrage? And yet then they go over to Jabesh Gilead and kill every man and child.
I don't know.
That doesn't make
Because
any
they did
sense.
what was right in their own eyes. I mean, they just.
I know, but do you understand what I'm saying? Like, it just is like you were so mad about who did this evil thing. And then.
Yeah, I understand.
Did he send the limbs from someone else?
No, he sent them to all the tribes.
Right. But on the, like, do you think he was doing it like this is a call to fight? Like, do you think he sent it like, I'm sending this to you for you guys to see, to know what happened? Or do you think he sent it like, the Benjamin tribe is sending this to you to call to fight. Maybe that would be the response to it with such an outrage.
I don't know.
It's exhausting.
All right. Today's got shot. And what is yours? Suckers is jacked up. All right. There wasn't much joy in today's reading because there wasn't much God. The last line reminds us that everyone did what was right in his own eyes. And the book ends with their wickedness increasing, where God isn't feared and honored, where people do as they please and follow their own desires. There may be a temporary solution for fulfillment of desires, but there isn't deep, lasting, sustaining joy, because that isn't found in following every longing in our hearts. It's found in Him, because He is where the joy is. Woo!
Right now, guys.
My goodness, what's going on today? Obedience doesn't guarantee our desired outcome. Sometimes its purpose is to teach us faithfulness to God instead of our desires. Whoo, man, oh man, oh man.
My goodness.
I mean, at the end of the day, that's kind of how she summed it up, was just when we do what we think's right, when we try to do it our way, when we try to create the solutions, when we try to make things work the way we think they should work, we just jack it all up. And we're doing what is right in our own eyes as humans instead of seeking God. There was no seeking God in any of that. There was no. Now, once they were in the war, they were crying out for help because they were getting their butt kicked.
I don't even understand how, honestly, if you took out 25,000 men, there should be more women than there are men. Why is there even a problem that there are not enough women?
Well, it said there wasn't enough women. What do you mean? Because they got to keep the tribes going. Sex was all about.
I know that. What I'm saying is they made it seem like after they did this battle, it caused a problem of not allowing the Benjamites to have a tribe continue.
Right.
But how is that even possible if you took out 25,000 men? If you took out 25,000 men, then
that must have been a whole lot.
Logically, you have more women than men left.
I think they killed women too.
No, it said these were all men of the sword. These were all men of war. Every time it said that, it was all men. Unless they...
I thought it said they killed some women too.
No, whenever they went, but 25,000? I don't know. It just don't make no sense.
That was craziness.
That's relative, or many are doing what is right. An everlasting God forsaken town, not honored or feared. It just doesn't seem like there would even be the issue of not like hundreds, 600 men still needed women. When they took out the town, they encamped around it over here.
All right. Do you have to take the dogs out?
Mm-hmm. Those were lines of battle. And then, okay. So Israel set men in ambush around Gibeah. And the people of Israel went up against the people of Benjamin. So it was everybody. And
Yeah.
there came against Gibeah 10,000 chosen men out of all Israel. And the Lord defeated Benjamin before Israel, and the people of Israel destroyed 25,100 men of Benjamin that day. All these were men who drew the sword. Are y'all understanding me? It makes no sense that there's even an issue. They took 400 women from Jabesh Gilead, then they took another 200 from Shiloh. But why did the Benjamites even need women? They should be at a surplus of women because 25,100 men were destroyed.
Well, but these are women that had probably already been married and had husbands. And so maybe for their sons or something, I don't know. Because I mean, I don't know. I mean, you would think there would have been a surplus if they killed that many men.
The men
But-
who died had sons. But why?
But I don't think they were allowed to take these women because they were already married.
It just stands to reason that everybody doesn't have enough women. If that's the case, how do they only not have enough women when they've killed all these men? Because it doesn't say all of the men were husbands or
Well, but
fathers.
didn't they
or,
also take? No, they took the virgins from the other tribe.
Mhm. 18,000 men of Benjamin fell, all of the men of valor. And they turned and fled. 5,000 men were cut down in the highways. And blah, blah,
Oh,
blah.
then it says, so they killed all of them, but 600 turned and fled toward the wilderness. And that's
hid.
the 600 that were still alive. So maybe it was not just men. Maybe when they're referencing men, that it was all of the people. I don't know.
That don't make no sense to me. It's just confusing.
Because
to
it
me.
says this. It says they struck down the sword, the city, men, and beasts, all that they found.
Where?
At the very last, and all the towns that they found, they set on fire. So
Where?
they killed everybody. Yeah, so that's what it is. The men of Israel turned back against the people of Benjamin, struck them with the edge of the sword, the city, the men, and the beasts, and all they found. All the towns that were found, they set on fire. So they killed everybody
died.
except these,
And these 600 that hid.
guys took off. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
I tell you what, you miss one line and it's very, okay, it makes sense. I get it now. So
it is burned them
the
all
part
out.
where they literally took all of Benjamin, I didn't get that. I didn't catch that. But I do remember the fire.
Yeah.
So the 600 men who hid is who they went and got wives for so that they could still have a tribe.
Because why else would they be doing
Ain't a dang thing makes sense in this. None of it. My goodness.
A little crazy. But to me, like the whole thing is like this pride, arrogance, whole thing. Like this guy's mad because he gave up his concubine, which seems to be kind of a thing then that they did this because they treated him basically like a prostitute, like you said. So they didn't want her, they wanted him, which is even more disturbing.
Which is weird.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything like that.
And then,
I mean, in the Bible.
And so they weren't happy that they got
didn't
her.
say they were drunk or anything either, huh? They just came around.
And so they were angry. I mean, they had their way, but then they beat her. Like it was clear they were not happy about that situation and killed her. So yeah, just a mess. But I mean, again, going back to,
Sick.
doing what's right in your own eyes, doing, people, when you're not being obedient, when you live in your flesh, you live in, to me, like the pride of and the arrogance that they were living in, to think they could control, they could do just whatever they wanted. All of them for a while. I mean, yeah, then the Israelites finally cry out, after they got, they kept crying back out to God because they got defeated. And then they finally win. But before that, they were doing what they wanted to do. They were being disobedient. And to me, when you're living your life the way you want to live it, I mean, there's disobedience, but you're just living in this pride. Like, I can do what I want. It's all pride and all arrogance. I'm in control of me. I can make my own decisions. I can be whatever I want to be and do whatever I want to do. Just all pride. Pride comes before the fall. Period.
No counsel, like just lacking counsel all over the place. All right. That was crazy.
Yeah.
Good job, babe.
Folks is jacked.
Folks is jacked.
I feel like we're kind of living in this, a little bit in this world these days.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
And just, well, I'm not going to say it. I'm going to get something started. All right, we need to go. Not going to say it right now. Just so we can start a whole another hour of talking. Get everybody fired up. Just as I think about that. Anyway. All right. Love you guys. Thanks for being on here with us and the craziness.
We all want to know what you were going to say.
Yeah, but it's not a good idea. Just telling you.
Okay.
It's just not right now. I know I got to take the boys. So I love you. You want me to get you some throat spray on the way back?
Okay, let's finish the live.
All right.
This man has not gotten me throat spray all day long. Well, I
okay.
I love
There'll
Mary.
be a time. There'll be a time.
I love you, Mary.
I gotta pray and make sure I'm not being the same way. So, all right. Good. 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
He's where the joy is. Don't push on me. I hurt. I'm not feeling good.
I didn't push you.
See you guys in the morning.
Drew her fist up at me.
Drew it up. I'll see you guys in the morning at 7.
7. I'll be fishing. Hope you're feeling better. Deuces.
Bye, guys.